Hey guys, it's Mrs. Simpson with SMS PLS, and I'm taking you through a craft that honestly I thought was gonna be kind of lame, and I ended up really loving how it came out. So this is a wall hanging. It's a cloud, and you can see it has yarn hanging down off the bottom, and so it looks like it's raining. And so this cloud is frowning. You can also make a cloud that is smiling just by moving the tape. Or if you think the face is kind of like babyish and a little bit silly, you don't have to have a face at all. Honestly, this wall hanging is so much cuter when it's hung up than I ever thought it was gonna be. Thought it was gonna be lame, delightfully surprised that it's cute. So I'm gonna take you through what to do with this project. All right, so first let's lay out our supplies. So in your kit, you should have some cotton balls. You should have some yarn. I have fat yarn. Some of you guys have skinny yarn, and I'll kind of address the differences with how you want to use it. You should have either a cloud template on a piece of cardboard that needs to be cut out, or if I thought you might need a hand with that, I went ahead and had one cut out for you. In addition, you're going to need your Cool Melt glue gun, or some Elmer's glue, extra glue sticks if you have the glue gun, a nice pair of sharp scissors, and most importantly, you should also have a chopstick or a piece of wood like this in your kit. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. First off, if you're somebody whose kit has a piece that looks like this, take a minute to cut out your cloud. So we're gonna go ahead and pick up right at this step. So the first step of what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and attach all the cotton balls to the cloud. And you have your choice. You can either do the hot glue gun or Elmer's glue with this. Both are going to work equally well. So if you wanna use Elmer's glue, you can just open up your Elmer's glue bottle, grab a cotton ball, squirt a little on there, and place it where you want it. Let's do a couple more. Squirt it on there, place it where you want it. And it's important that you don't pick it up until it's dry. Otherwise, it's not going to go very well. Now, I personally love using the hot glue gun for pretty much anything that I can use it for. I am going to use my hot glue gun. I think it goes a little faster, but maybe not. I don't know. So I'm just going to run a bit of hot glue in small sections, because if you get too big, it dries and you don't get your cotton ball on there. So I did a small section, and now I'm just going to stick the cotton balls on. Stick, stick, stick. And I'm gonna fluff them up, hopefully to cover like all my cardboard. Okay, so once I get done with this, I'll show you the next step. So I'm gonna hurry up and I'm gonna cover this thing with cotton balls. Come back in a second. Okay, looks pretty good. If you see places where you can still see the cardboard, you can either take your cotton balls and kind of fluff them up to cover the cardboard, or you could go ahead and squish some more cotton balls in. I think I'm just gonna fluff them a little bit. I just don't like to see the cardboard behind it. I don't think that looks cute. So let me go ahead and cover that up a little bit. And now I think I've got it. All right, next step. I've got to prepare the yarn part that's gonna hang down from this cloud. So I'm gonna set the cloud aside for now. I am gonna need my chopstick, and I am gonna need my yarn for the next part. Now, this is a little bit like another project I showed you before. You have more than one option for how you can get this yarn onto this chopstick. So first, I'm gonna wanna lay my yarn out flat because this can become a tangled mess if I'm not careful. So I'm gonna try to lay this out neatly and flat so that the pieces are easier to work with. Okay, so on the original example I showed you, you saw that the cloud had a really long tail. If you want your cloud to have a really long tail, you've already got your pre-cut pieces of yarn like this. All you're gonna do is take your chopstick and you're just gonna tie it in a knot around it. Now you can do one strand at a time, but that took a really long time. When I did my first one, that's how I did it. You could probably take, if it's fat yarn, maybe 3 strands at a time. And if it's skinny yarn, you could probably take, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 strands. And you can do the same knotting technique where you just take it, you're gonna make a knot. And you can see it's all starting to hang down. Now, if this isn't like perfect and beautiful up across the top of your chopstick, that's not gonna matter. It's gonna be hidden by the cloud. So if you like knotting, you would just keep going until you'd filled most of your chopstick. Now, let's say you want a little bit shorter strands on your cloud. You can do another technique. You can do looping and pulling. So I'm gonna show you some looping and pulling. And so this is one where I could probably take, I'd say 3 strands if it's fat yarn, up to 7 or 8 if it's skinny yarn. And I'm going to show you what to do. So I've got to make sure that I kind of get this tidy. So I've got my 3 strands of fat yarn. Remember, you can do more if it's skinny. I'm going to lay it down. See how the ends are mostly lined up? Now, not all of these are the exact same length, so it's not going to be perfect, but pretty close. I'm going to take my chopstick and lay it down. I'm going to gather up the ends of the yarn, and I'm going to push them through this hole and bring them out the other side. When I do that, I'm going to pull it tight, and now I have a short amount of yarn hanging off. So you can see if you wanted it longer, you're going to need to do knotting, but if you want shorter strands, you can do it like this, and this will also fill up your chopstick faster. Let me show you one more time before I go ahead and finish this off. So I'm going to grab 3 pieces of fat yarn, and I could do more pieces of skinny yarn. But I'm going to grab 3 pieces, and I'm going to try to kind of line them up as best I can. They're not perfectly even, but the ends should be sort of in the same place. I'm going to lay this out with a loop, and I'm going to place my chopstick on top of it. I'm going to gather up the ends and hold them all tight together, and I'm going to pull them through the loop. And then I'm going to pull them tight. And once I do, there we go. I've got some more on there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish filling my chopstick with yarn before I take you on to the next step. Let me talk you through the next step of what we're going to do with this craft, guys. All right, so once I've got my yarn on my chopstick and it's looking like this, remember that cloud I made earlier? You're going to come back to it. Now, if you want to do this with Elmer's glue, you can. You're just going to have to make sure you really sit it down and let it fully dry before you try to pick it up. But I've got no patience. I'm going to go with the low melt glue gun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I've got a little extra here because it takes quite a bit. I'm just going to squirt big globs along this chopstick, and I'm going right over the top of that yarn, right over the top. Uh-oh, better get another stick. And I got to move quick because it's going to dry. Big globs, like that, big globs. All right, now I'm going to take my cloud, and I'm going to put it, about halfway across the back. I'm going to lay it right down on top of that chopstick. And I'm going to push down and hold until I feel like it's dry. Now, if this is Elmer's glue, you're going to want to leave yours sit like this for maybe 15 or 20 minutes. If you use cool melt glue, just a few seconds will probably do it. All right, so I should be able to pick this up now. As a wall hanging, I could tack this up. Now, see how the bottom's kind of fringy? If I like the way my cloud looks with a fringy bottom and I don't want it all to be the same length, I don't have to do that. If I don't like how that some of them are a little longer than others, like there's this one that's kind of bugging me. There's a couple that are sticking out real low. I'm going to trim them off. And I think that actually looks really pretty cute. You can also take your scissors and go straight across and make it perfectly flat. And I can show you how to do that. I'm just going to take it like this. I'm going to eyeball it. You may want to take a straight edge, but you can just trim it like you're trimming hair right across the bottom to be the length that you want, where they're all mostly the same length. And so if you like the way that looks better, that also works. So you've got a cute wall cloud hanging. If you liked the face like I showed you on my original, you could take a couple of buttons and a piece of string and put a face on it, but I think this is cute just the way it is. All right, so go ahead and make sure you finish your awesome projects. Don't forget to post examples of your work and tag SMSPLS on social media, and I will see you soon.